Hey up, I'm Nathan Human, and this is episode 12 of The Biscuit Reviews. We're going to take a little trip this episode across the pond to the City of Angels, Tinseltown, La La Land, the entertainment capital of the world. That's right.
I want to go to Hollywood. Talkies, I mean the pictures.
We're going to Hollywood. But we're leaving behind the bright lights and the glamour to go and inspect the sleazy underbelly for two twisty stories that on the surface seem very familiar. But when we wipe away the makeup, we see a very different face. We begin with a sitcom, well, sort of sitcom drama by Bill Hader, where he plays the titular Barry, a hitman who wants to give it up to become an actor. It didn't seem to pick up much attention here, but it is an absolute treasure. Something that did get a lot of attention online, and you may have found it hard to ignore, was the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard court case. You may even have formed your own opinion, but were you influenced by overwhelmingly negative posts about Amber Heard? And what might that have to do with a road traffic accident and a murdered journalist? The latest deep dive podcast from Tortoise Media, Who Trolled Amber, is a fascinating look at online manipulation and how it might affect us all. Hollywood has long mixed glamour and violence, and with Barry, creator and actor Bill Hader has taken it to the ultimate conclusion with a hitman who wants to quit the life of killing to be an actor. After watching people die at the end of his gun, will people now watch him die on stage? This modern classic, and I don't use that term lightly, is both laugh out loud funny whilst also being so much more. I read an article recently about how the sitcom has died. Or maybe I heard it on a podcast. And I remember thinking, I'm pretty sure I've heard this before. A quick Google, and yeah, there's an article from a couple of months ago, and then last year, and then this one from 3 years ago, and then pretty much every year back to 2015, and then back 17 years to Victoria Wood saying that The Office had killed the sitcom. Yes, the sitcom has been killed off so many times by now, it should be wearing an orange parka.
Oh my God! They killed Kenny!
But the truth is, much like the 4-4-2 in football, it doesn't die out. It just gets reinvented a little. And Barry is one of a new breed of sitcoms that are more of a hybrid, a sitcom tragi-drama. Sort of like the violent, bleak flip side to Ted Lasso. If, like me, your frame of reference for Bill Hader is Saturday Night Live or anecdotes and impressions on chat shows.
The first time I met him, I go, he comes up to me and he had a cigar in his mouth and he goes, what is Jeff and Peter? That's his hair and makeup guys. Yeah. And I go, I don't know, I'll find them. And he goes, find them, show me your leadership capabilities.
And maybe that dorky but adorable lip sync with Kristen Wiig in the Skeleton Twins movie. Then seeing him here is a shocking treat. Although, to be fair, if that lip sync and Arnie impression were his only contributions to the world of entertainment, then that is still a pretty damn good return. Bill Hader is Barry Berkman, a comic book nod with the name alliteration, a traumatised war veteran who is both saved and used by old friend Monroe Fuchs, who puts him to work as a hitman. On a job in LA, Barry follows his target to an acting class where he is persuaded to perform, and then onto a bar where he is smitten with aspiring star Sally Reed.
Hey, Barry? Hey, I wanted to say sorry for snapping at you back there. I didn't realize you were an actor.
Oh, I'm not an actor.
What are you going to do for your monologue? I did the scene from The Blind Side, the one where Sandy Bullock interrupts football practice. This team is your family. You protect his blind side. Do you remember that? It won her an Oscar.
I'm not doing a monologue.
What would be a good motto for you? Let's go brainstorm. A bunch of us are going to residuals.
What's residuals?
Something is kindled in him, and he wants to leave behind his violent, solitary life and make a connection. So clearly he decides he wants to be an actor. But not surprisingly, the sunshine of LA is clouded by other storms, and as we all know, it ain't that easy to leave a life of crime behind.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
The stakes are raised when Barry's refusal to carry out his hit puts him and his handler at odds with the Chechen mob, whilst he is also accepted into the acting class. Before long, Barry is battling three fronts: the mobsters, his old friend and handler Fuchs, and trying to get truth into his monologue for his acting class. Oh yeah, and the police have a blurry photo of a killer that they're trying to track down. Now look, you might start watching and wonder why the genre sitcom is anywhere near this. And granted, there's no amusing cold open like you might get in a Cheers or Will and Grace, and there's not a high laugh strike rate. But when it is funny, it is very funny. But it isn't like funny gags funny. It is character funny, awkward funny, and sometimes absurd funny. Like you can't believe you're laughing at what's happening funny.
I can't work for you anymore, all right? You gotta find someone else.
Well, do you know any other assassins?
No.
Well, what do you want me to do? Go to John Wick Assassin Hotel with help wanted sign? I mean, what?
You got good guys right here, man.
Oh my God, my guys suck balls. You know it. Especially this right here.
If I suck balls, you are king of suck balls!
In fact, in that regard, the lazy comparison here is probably to a groundbreaking film also set in LA's underworld.
Marvin, what do you make of all this?
Man, I don't even have an opinion.
Well, you gotta have an opinion. I mean, do you think that God came down from heaven and stopped him? Oh man, I shot Marvin in the face.
And to be fair, it probably has more in common with Pulp Fiction than it does some other sitcoms you might think of. The comedy when it comes is sharp and jabby, but this is a TV show that is ambitious and will not be held back. So when it does drama, it does emotional, involving drama. When it does action, it is full-on exciting and explosive action. And right, there is a car chase scene with a motorbike and a shootout that is simply outrageous and out-actions a number of Hollywood action films. I'm not a fan of people urging you to stick with a series for 4 or 5 episodes, because then it gets good. But I will say here, if you're not on board with the tone and style by the second episode, then it's safe to bail out. But these are 30-minute episodes. You're not having to invest a couple of hours here. If you are sold enough to carry on, you will be richly rewarded by some sharp writing, inventive plotting, and incredible performances. Sarah Goldberg is suitably infuriating but winsome as actor Sally Reed.
I feel like I need to say something, Barry.
Okay.
This piece that I'm doing for class, it's exactly what I should be doing.
Yeah, no, and it's great. What you're doing is...
I'm terrified, okay? Because my piece is real. It's not a character, it's me. Raw, unapologetic truth with a capital T. I mean, all caps, actually. I'm thinking like a writer now. I mean, this was stuff that I couldn't even talk about without lying. And here I am about to strip naked in front of a bunch of strangers and share something that I am massively ashamed of. Not literally, I don't believe in nudity unless it drives the story forward.
Henry Winkler delivers a career high as old actor turned acting coach Gene Cousineau.
If I want pure sorrow, I call up Princess Diana's death. Or the day that my dad fell off the roof when I was a kid. Kaplunk.
And Anthony Carrigan is an absolute delight as over-the-top Chechen gangster NoHo Hank.
Oh my God, that was so scary. That was really scary.
And it is all held together with subtle brilliance by Bill Hader.
So here's my advice to you. You go back to whatever nook of the world you call home, and you do whatever it is you're good at. Because this is not it.
You want to know what I'm good at? I'm good at killing people. Yeah, when I got back from Afghanistan, I was really depressed. You know, like I didn't leave my house for months, and this friend of my dad's, he's like an uncle to me. He helped me out, and he gave me a purpose. He told me that what I was good at over there could be useful here. And it's a job, you know? Like, the money's good, and these people I take out, like, they're bad people. But lately, you know, I'm not sleeping, and that depressed feeling's back, you know? Like I know there's more to me than that. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's not. Maybe this is all I'm good at. I don't know.
Over 4 seasons and 32 episodes, Barry evolves and gives shocks, twists, and tremendous story and character arcs that elevate this way above a sitcom. And, in a rare occurrence these days, it totally sticks the landing. Some studio or producers have hopefully now just said to Bill Hader, look, you know what, here's a stack of money, do whatever you want. My biscuit rating for Barry is dark chocolate glazed Louboutin rounds. Looked intriguing and different, and I didn't know what to expect, but oh my god, they are amazing and like nothing else. Barry was available on HBO, so who knows where it is on streaming now. I find it handy to go to justwatch.com, stick in the title you're looking for, and it'll tell you where it's available to stream. You can find these reviews in written form on the website, which I've recently just rearranged to make it a bit neater, and all past episodes at thebiscuitreviews.co.uk. If you have a TV show, a podcast or a book you would like to recommend, especially if it's a bit of an undiscovered gem, then do let me know. Message me on social media or get in touch via thebiscuitreviews.co.uk. I'm a big fan of Tortoise Media and their commitment to slower news in terms of taking time to thoroughly investigate stories and speak to a wide range of people connected to get a well-rounded picture. However, the title of their latest podcast series, Who Trolled Amber, did not really appeal. I wasn't interested in what, from an outside brief glance, looked like a tawdry Hollywood gossip case with some unpleasant characters.
In civil case number CL 2019-2911, Mr. Depp's claim against Ms. Heard.
There was a time when Johnny Depp and Amber Heard were the industry's it couple, but the Hollywood honeymoon didn't last long. Their red carpet smiles a sharp contrast with the courtroom scowls.
I wasn't Team Johnny or Team Amber. My knowledge was limited to a wayward Captain Jack Sparrow impression and knowing that Depp has a well-documented history of substance misuse and turbulent relationships. It turns out that journalist and producer Alexi Mostros had a similar disinterest when he was first approached about covering this story too. However, this podcast isn't just about that court case. And in the end, it isn't really about the frankly slightly bewildering fact that millions of really similar sounding tweets from suspicious accounts were sent criticising Amber Heard. As the podcast speaks to digital forensic experts who can dig into the source of the data, a picture starts to emerge of industrial scale misinformation that is worldwide. And you do not need to be in the public eye to be affected by this. There is a brilliant format to these longer series by Tortoise, where they carefully introduce their topic and main characters and ensure that all the context is laid out and background information is there to put us in the picture and provide a sturdy foundation for the investigation. And then we're taken on a diligently curated tour of the main events and players with insightful stop-offs with experts or people significantly related to what occurred. For this series, that involves setting up the background to the legal cases of Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, which is really handy for me and also to get the legal background. And then we're off to Florida to unpack the data behind the online abuse. At the halfway point of this 6-part series, we're suddenly flipped as we dive down into the murky world of state-sanctioned, or at least nominally supported, bot farms that can command tens of thousands of online accounts that can swing public opinion, court cases and, in a big year for them, maybe elections. The series expands out to cover how so much of our online life is now open to manipulation or just outright fakery. Whether that is something as old-fashioned as people with egos and a love of cash being paid to shout an opinion that favours someone else, or a more modern tactic of using paid-for accounts to falsely inflate something to become a trending topic and skew the public discourse. There is an impressive range of interviewees in this podcast to shed light on all manner of different aspects, whether it's the legalities of the court case, the data involved online, how nation-states might have an interest in directing the online conversation, and how online figures and YouTubers might well be manipulated to put across different points of view. Tortoise and Alexi Mostros here are adept at lowering the hyperbole. Even with such globally significant topics, they take a cool-headed and rational path through a tangled jungle of deception. Whether enough people can be as rational with emotive topics and misinformation dominating our social media discourse is another matter entirely. But this is a fascinating and, you could probably argue, important series, and one I can definitely recommend listening to. All episodes of Who Trolled Amber are available to listen to right now. I also strongly recommend checking out Tortoise's other series whilst you're there. My biscuit rating, a Tuck original. Might not seem that exciting or tempting from the outside, but it has a variety of tastes and textures and is surprisingly satisfying and Moorish. Before I go, a small request. If you could leave a review or rating at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon or Google or wherever else you listen, that would be amazing, as it does make the podcast more visible to others and, you know what, it's just nice, isn't it? Thanks for listening. I'm off for a brew and a bicky. Until next time, ta-ra.